Hello, and welcome to Friendship Bracelets. This is a monthly make and take program where we learn to make really cool stitched friendship bracelets for ourselves, our friends, and our family. This month, we're going to learn the roller coaster stitch. This is a round stitch where the stitches wrap around themselves a little bit, kind of looking like a spiral staircase or a roller coaster. In your kit, you should find 2 loops of embroidery floss. Here's one. 2 will look like this. You're only going to need half of this. You actually have enough to make 2 roller coaster bracelets. So the first thing you want to do is unwind one of your loops of thread here and cut it in half. You'll want to do the same with both. Just toss the other halves aside. Once you have each half cut, you're going to fold them in half again and join them together and tie a knot at the top. So you can pause here if you need to take some time to do that. It should look like this when you're done. I've folded them over at the top, joined them together so they're all nice and neat. It looks like I have 4 pieces of thread, 2 yellow and 2 kind of grayish blue from the 2 pieces of thread because I looped them at the top, and I've tied a knot about 3/4 of an inch down. Do not cut through the loop. Leave the loop intact. It is how you will tie the bracelet on or make it into a keychain when you're done. So keep that loop intact. So after that, you're going to want to tape it to the table. Scotch tape, masking tape, whatever you have that isn't too heavy duty will work. And you want to tape just above the knot. We'll lower it to below the knot later, but you want the tape just above the knot because we're going to tie our first stitches as close to the knot as possible, so we need to be able to see it. If you have a clipboard, that will also work. So once you tape it to the table, pick what color you want to start with first. In my example, I started with yellow, so I'm going to do the same here. Separate your one of your yellow threads from all the rest of your threads and make sure they look nice and neat, like this. Then you'll want to make a 4 shape where you bend that one yellow thread behind the rest of your threads, like that. Then you'll want to take it and pull it through the loop the 4 you just made. So wind it around the front and pull it through, like that. And again, you'll be doing this all on the table. It looks a little weird when it's up in the air. Then, holding onto your 3 unused threads, you'll pull it really tight towards the top and tighten that stitch as much as you can. There we go. And there's one very tiny stitch done. So you'll keep going, and remember, you'll make that 4 shape where it's underneath, and it doesn't matter where the thread is. Make that 4 shape so it looks like a regular 4, not a backwards 4, and it's bent under the other 3 strings. If you bend it over the other 3 strings, your stitches will kind of zigzag instead of looping around. They all have to be the same. Pull your string over and pull it through the loop and tighten your stitch. As you're doing this, the direction that you pull, or once you're done with all of your stitches, however many you want to do, in this example, I have 20 stitches per color. Just try and pull them in a circle all the way around. That way they create that nice looping staircase effect. If you're not sure how to do that, just make 20 stitches or however many you want, and then just use your fingers to kind of twist them into that spiral shape. So let me do some quick stitches here so you can see what I mean. Bracelet making is such a fun pastime. I've been making them at summer camp since I was 8 years old, and I still make them every summer and wear them. So if you see me around the library, come check out my friendship bracelets. I'm happy to show you how to make them, or take a look at yours, or even trade them with you. So let me get a few more stitches in here. If you're going kind of slow, take your time. You want to make sure each stitch is precise and not in a knot. You want to keep your threads straight. That way it looks nice and clean. I've had a lot of practice, so I'm going a little faster here. And voila, I've done about 12 stitches. And it looks about that long, and you can see it's starting to roller coaster around. Now, in some cases, yours might look a little bit more like this, where the roller coaster is a little bit wider, as opposed to tighter, like that. All you have to do is use your hands to loosen or tighten your roller coaster or your spiral staircase based on what you're looking for. I like them really tight. I like them to look really loopy all around, so I like to tighten mine. But whatever you would like to do, they'll kind of naturally start to form that spiral, and you can make them tighter or looser as you would like. Once you think your section is nice and long, move to another color. Fold the yellow back in with the rest of them, so you've got kind of 4 unique threads here, or 4 clumped threads, and pull out a blue one, or whatever your other color is that you haven't used yet. Either one of the ones in your clump is fine. And do the same thing. Fold under to make a 4, loop over, pull it through, pull all the way up to tighten. I'm going to do a couple examples here so that I can show you what happens when you want to switch colors again. This becomes a little bit of a counting game to make sure that your stitches are even. It's okay if they're not totally even. I think on my sample mine are anywhere from 18 to 21 stitches, and they all look to be about the same length. So if you lose track, that's okay. You don't have to go individually counting all the tiny little stitches in your staircase. Just until they look long enough, keep going. Another key is after each section, if you think it's getting close to long enough to fit your wrist or the wrist of whoever you're making it for, check it out. Take it off, measure it around, see if it would work. And if it looks like it's long enough, you can be done. Almost done with my section here. Also, if you need to use more tape to tape it to the table, please do. Mine's coming up for sure. All right, just tightened it. There's my blue section. So now I want to switch back to yellow, but I want to make sure I'm using the yellow thread I haven't used yet. What you're going to want to do is look at the ends of your thread. So when we started, they were all pretty much even. Now I've got a yellow and a blue that are shorter than my other two. Shorter means you've stitched with it already. So I want to make sure I use this yellow one, which is longer, to make my next yellow stitch. And then when I do blue, there will be one blue thread that'll be longer than all 3 of my other threads. That's what I'm going to want to use. Once you've used all 4 of them, start over. Doesn't matter what you've used already. The key is once you've got either 2 or 6 or 10 sections, that's when you're checking the bottom to see which ones you haven't used yet and making sure they all get used evenly. If you only use the same 2 threads to stitch around the whole time, you won't have very much thread left to stitch with for your bracelet. It'll end up a little bit shorter. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sections here, and my thread is nice and even at the end. If I had done them all with the same 2 stitches, I probably would have had to finish closer to up here, and these would be so short at the end. So it's important to make sure that you're alternating your threads. This one is just long enough for me to make a bracelet. I'm done with all my sections. So when I want to tie it on, what I'll do, I won't tie a knot at the end necessarily. I'll wrap it around my wrist. I'll thread all 4 of these end threads through that first loop at the top that I knotted under. Pull it through. Want to make sure you pull all of them through here. It's hard to get them through. Oh my gosh. There we go. They're all in. I'm going to tighten it. And again, you don't want them too tight. You don't want them to hurt. So mine's pretty loose. That way I can take it off whenever I need to. Then I'm going to tie another knot using these threads just along the knot. So make that 4 shape or a loop at the top like this. Around the back, pull them through like this. Just once. And then leave a nice long tail so that if it does come untied, you can retie it. So there we go. There we go. And if it's tied on, you have a grown-up help you with that last little bit of a cut. It'll make it a lot easier. And voila, I have a friendship bracelet, and so do you. If you need to pause or rewind to watch any of this video again, go ahead and do that. Do this at your own pace, have a lot of fun, and send us pictures or come in and show off your completed friendship bracelets. We love to see what you're doing with all your library crafts at home. This is Friendship Bracelets, and we'll be doing another one next month. See you then.